Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If I told you that someone right now, today, is quietly turning $100 a week into over $100,000 without a high-paying job, without a secret investment tip, and without any special knowledge about the stock market, would you believe me? Probably not, because that sounds like one of those ads you scroll past on Instagram, the ones with the guy standing in front of a rented Lamborghini telling you he cracked the code. But here's the thing. This isn't a secret. It isn't a hack, and it has nothing to do with luck. It's something that's been working quietly in the background for decades, something most people walk past every single day without ever stopping to look at it. And by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why, and more importantly, why almost nobody actually does it. Here's how most people think about money. You earn it, you spend it, you try to save a little, and then someday, maybe when you're older, maybe when you get that raise, maybe when things settle down, you'll figure out the investing stuff. Sound familiar? The problem is that someday is the most expensive word in the English language. And it's not because people are lazy or irresponsible. It's actually because of the way our brains are wired. Psychologists call it present bias. It means that humans are naturally designed to value what we have right now much more than what we could have in the future. A coffee this morning feels real. $100,000 in 10 years, that feels like a story someone made up. So we keep spending in the present and we keep pushing investing into the future. And the future keeps arriving without us ever having started. There's also something else going on. Most people think investing is complicated. They imagine men in suits staring at screens full of numbers. They think you need thousands of dollars to even get started. They think you know which stocks to pick, when to buy, when to sell. So they wait. They wait until they feel ready, until they feel like they know enough. But that wait is costing them something they can never get back. Let's talk about what actually happens when you invest $100 every single week. Not occasionally, not when you feel like it. Every week, consistently. Week 1, you invest $100 into a simple index fund, something that tracks the overall stock market. Nothing fancy, just a fund that grows roughly in line with the market over time. Week 2, you invest another 100. Week 3, another 100. Now here's where most people stop and do the math in their head. Okay, $100 a week, 52 weeks a year, that's $5,200 a year. Times 10 years, that's $52,000. And they think, okay, that's decent, not life-changing, but decent. But that math is missing the most important ingredient. It's missing what Albert Einstein allegedly called the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. Here's how to think about it. Imagine you plant a tree. In year 1, it's small. It grows a few leaves. In year 2, those leaves grow their own branches. In year 3, those branches grow their own leaves, and those leaves grow their own branches, and on and on and on. The tree isn't just growing, it's growing the things that grow, and those things are growing more things. That's compound interest. Your money earns returns, and then those returns earn returns. Let's put real numbers on this. You invest $100 a week. That's around $430 a month. Over 10 years, using a conservative average annual return of around 8%, which is roughly what a broad market index fund has historically returned over long periods. Here's what happens. You put in $52,000 of your own money, but your total portfolio, after 10 years of consistent weekly investing, approximately $80,000 to $90,000. Some projections, depending on market performance, push past $100,000. You didn't just get back what you put in, you got almost double. And here's the part that breaks people's brains. The longer you keep going, the faster it grows, because the pile getting compound interest keeps getting bigger. If you kept going, not for 10 years, but for 20, that same $100 a week could grow to somewhere between $300,000 and $400,000 with the same weekly habit, just more time. Time is the real asset here. And the cruelest part, you can't buy more of it. Now, let's talk about something that the numbers alone don't tell you. Because here's the psychological truth about wealth building that nobody really talks about. The math is the easy part. The behavior is the hard part. Think about what we're actually describing here. $100 a week. That's $14.28 a day. That's less than most people spend on lunch and a coffee. That's one dinner out. That's 2 or 3 impulse purchases on Amazon at midnight. It's not a large amount of money, and that's exactly why it's so hard. Because our brain doesn't register small amounts as meaningful. We're wired to pay attention to big things, big threats, big rewards, big moments. $100 doesn't feel like it matters, so we spend it. We tell ourselves it won't make a difference either way. But there's a name for this psychological trap. It's called the illusion of insignificance, the belief that small actions are too small to matter, and it quietly destroys more wealth than bad investments ever could. Here's a metaphor that might stick with you. Imagine a leaky tap. Just a slow drip. You barely notice it. Day after day, week after week. You walk past that dripping tap and think, it's just a drip, it can't be doing much damage. But at the end of the year, a slow drip can waste thousands of liters of water. Now flip that image around. What if instead of losing drops, you were collecting them? What if every week you dropped $100 into a collection bucket, and that bucket had a magical property where the water inside slowly multiplied on its own? You'd never skip a week, right? That's your investment account. The other psychological trap is something called the all or nothing mindset. People see the big numbers, the 100,000, the 300,000, and they think, I'd need to invest so much more to get there faster. And when they can't invest more, they don't invest anything. But the research is clear. Consistency beats amount. The person who invests $100 every week without fail will almost always end up wealthier than the person who invests $1,000 occasionally when they feel like it. Not because of better returns, because of time in the market. Every week you invest is another week your money has to compound. Every week you skip is a week you can never get back. There's also something powerful that happens psychologically when you invest consistently. It starts to change how you see yourself. You stop being someone who's going to start investing someday. You become someone who invests. That identity shift changes everything. Your habits, your spending, your relationship with money. So what do you actually do with all of this? Step 1, start. Not next month, not when you get that raise, now. Even if it's less than $100, the point isn't the exact amount. The point is to begin the habit of moving money into investments instead of spending it. Step 2, automate it. The biggest enemy of consistent investing isn't a market crash, it's forgetting. It's deciding. Every time you have to manually choose to invest, you give your present biased brain a chance to talk you out of it. Remove the decision. Set up an automatic weekly or monthly transfer. Make it invisible. Step 3, put it somewhere simple. You don't need to pick stocks. You don't need to time the market. A low-cost index fund that tracks the broader market is where most financial experts, including some of the most successful investors in history, recommend that regular people put their money. Simple, diversified, historically reliable over long periods. Step 4, don't touch it. This is the one that really separates the people who build wealth from the ones who don't. When the market drops, and it will drop, the instinct is to pull your money out, to protect it. But that instinct, as natural as it feels, is almost always wrong. The people who build real wealth are the ones who stay in the market through the dips, because the dip isn't the end of the story, it's just a chapter. Step 5, keep going when it's boring. And it will get boring. Investing consistently doesn't feel exciting. You won't wake up every week thinking about how great you are for moving $100. The numbers will barely seem to move at first, but that's the deal. The boring middle is where the wealth is actually being built. Quietly, invisibly, compounding in the background while you live your life. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. The people who end up financially free in their 50s and 60s almost never got there because of one big decision, one lucky investment, one perfect moment. They got there because of 1,000 small, boring, consistent decisions that didn't feel like much at the time. $100 every week for years. Not because they were geniuses, not because they had more money than you, but because they understood something most people don't. The most powerful financial force in the world isn't an investment strategy. It isn't market knowledge. It isn't even money. It's time and the willingness to be boring with it. You probably have more than $100 worth of subscriptions you barely use, more than $100 leaving your account every week on things you won't remember in 6 months. The money is almost certainly already there. The question is just where it's going. The future version of you, the one 10 years from now, is going to look back at this exact moment. They're either going to thank you for starting, or they're going to wonder why you waited. $100 a week. That's all it takes to begin. The only decision you have to make right now is which version of your future self you're building.